Hi, and welcome to V Recap. Today we're going to talk about movie Savage Dog, released in the year 2017. The film takes place somewhere in the southern Burma about a person. In the starting, we see him in prison and his name is Martin. One of the guard come to take him and we find out that after French left, Indochina offered protection to European war criminals and others. We see Martin is fighting against a very strong person, but with his ability and skills, it was easy for him to know his opponent out. Then we see one of the referee go to the opponent and tells him his name is John. And also he is known with many names, but one of the famous name is the Executioner. The Executioner told him that because he lost the fight, he has to face death. And with the one blow, he easily killed the opponent. On the way, Martin saw a beautiful girl carrying flowers. The guard tries to shoo her away, but this only angered Martin and he hit the guard. After that, we see him in his cell and looking from window. He saw a flower girl sending flowers to the prison warden. In the next scene, we see the prison warden grading a picture of his wife, and he grabs the rose and throws them away. Then we see the girl meeting Martin and telling him that it was unnecessary from him I hit the guard. She told him she thought to helping in any way, but he provokes him from visiting and bring flowers for the warden. But she changes the topic and told him that she will visit him next week, but he refuses and not to waste her time. Then we see that Mr. Harrison visited the prison warden and told him that the British intelligence wants Martin because of the crimes he did in Britain. But the warden clearly denies the existence of such named person in his prison and asks the guard to take Harrison out. After a week, we see that the girl pays a visit to Martin, and when he asked her the reason of her visit, she told him that he doesn't belong here. Then one of the guard takes Martin to the warden office and gave him a drink. Then the warden told him that because of the crimes he is sentenced to death in Britain and that they are same condition, and gave example of Corporal Boone. He is a Vietnamese paratrooper who was considered as hero, but now he is wanted by the Vietnamese Communist Organization as a traitor. Then he was untied and was permitted to live freely. The Corporal Boone questioned warden's decision, but the warden replies that he wants the British intelligence out of his affairs. The first place Martin goes was the girl who used to visit him, and he met her. She introduced her to the person who adopted and take care of her, and who was also the owner of the bar, Mr. Valentine. Valentine told him that he know how strong he is, and he can use this strength and offer him a job of bar bodyguard. And also shows him a picture of the girl parents, and the prison warden is her father, to whom she sent flowers hoping that one day he will accept her as her daughter. He tells him that the prison warden was married to a girl, but he was suspicious about her and thought she was cheating on him. And when she gave birth to Isabel, he refuses to accept her as her daughter. And from that day, he adopted her and warns him if he dares to harm her, he will be finished. Then he started spending time in fixing the club and also developed feeling for Isabel. In the bar, two men were fighting, so Martin intervened to break it up, but he hit one of them hard and kicked him out of the bar. Then one of this guy men comes out fight with Martin, but he was able to counter the punches easily and defeat them all. Soon, Valentine come out and stop the fight, after which Isabel bandages his wounds. Suddenly, Rastignac and his men enters the bar, and Valentine asks Isabel to come home. He told him that he disturbed the most powerful and dangerous men of Indochina, and now he needed them more than ever, and also told that Colonel Hans had a champion, and he wanted him to fight him so that he can earn money and use it for his protection. But Martin refuses. But Valentine suggests him to fight, and on the next day he leaves after bids Isabel farewell and asks her not to see him fighting, and goes to Hans to told him that he accepted his offer. Then he gets into a fight with Hero, which he defeats easily, which make Hans happy. Then we see that Mr. Harrison asking Valentine about an Irish boxer, to which he replied that indeed an Irish man has come to the bar and asked him what he did. Harrison replied that in 1946 he placed an explosive targeting Royal Police and Special Forces, and his father and brother was also part of it. But they die in an explosion, and now he wanted for justice and is sentenced to death. We see Martin still fighting and winning all the fights and making a huge fan following. And also Isabel kept sending flowers to Warden. But now Warden decided to reply and write a letter to her, stating that he loved her and her mother. But now he sees her not as her daughter and her mother as a traitor. In the bar, Valentine asked Martin about his condition and told him that a British agent is looking for him and asked him to run away and take Isabel with him. Then he gave him his military passport and told him that after tomorrow fight he has to won the money and flee from here. And as to Valentine, he will travel with his wife country and buy some property there. Then we see that Hans is talking to Martin and telling him that no one will bet against him because they know that you will win, and because of that, they will not get money. He understands that they want him to lose, and he agrees on that, but on one condition, that he will take the quarter amount of fight. Next, Valentine tells his wife that they should go away because he has mortgaged his bar and was sure that Martin will win. On the fight day, everyone was confident that Martin will win, and in that starting, Martin blows some punches and legs on his opponent to show them that he is in real fight. Then, suddenly he allowed his opponent to hit him, and he also claims to be unconsciousness. After fight, Paul goes to give the money to Martin, and after some time, we see Rastignac and his men entering the bar and told Valentine that he'd lost his bet, and now he is the owner of bar. Isabel was furious and hit one of the men, and in return he hit her and knocked her to ground. Valentine gets angry and pointed gun on Rastignac, but he suddenly takes the gun away and shot both Valentine and Isabel. Martin arrives, and when Rastignac sees him, he also shoots him and take both Isabel and Matten body away and bury them in mud. But something else was in his fate, and he manages to get out of mud and takes care of Isabel's wounds with herbs. He wants his revenge as he bandages his wounds and started training, and soon goes back to the bar and kills Rastignac men's. Amarillo saw him and offered some drink, but he was serious and killed all the men, but Amarillo manages to run away and tells Hans that Martin is not dead and is coming for them. But Hans told him that he will take care of him and order him to get money from his home. He goes with a bunch of guards, but Martin appears and shoots all the guards with gun. Then he reaches Amarillo, who tries to entice him by giving money, but Martin shots his hands and then killed him and blows up the place. At this time, Hans for ready for Martin with all his goons and gun. Hans secured police station from outside with soldiers and barricades. Martin arrives from the back door and get rid of guards and throw grenades on them, and had an opportunity to kill Hans, but refuses to kill him easily. Then he kills all the guards on his way and reaches to Hans' office, and when Hans provokes him, he took the sword and stabs him. Then Corporal Boone comes and they got into a fight. He was skillful and manages to land some punches on Martin, but he finally manages to kill him by shooting him with gun. Then he gets out and confronts all the guards with weapons until he reached Rastignac. They shot each other and were injured, but Rastignac manages to escape. Then Martin takes the letter Hans wrote to Isabel and leaves, and then he leaves the bag for Isabel and goes to search Rastignac, who was hiding in hut. A fierce fight takes between them, but in the end, Martin manages to kill him. We watched Isabel holding the letter his father wrote to her. She was confessed that he accepted her as her daughter. Then Mr. Harrison arrives and told Martin that he has been sentenced to death and must travel with him. But Harrison knew that Martin will kill him before they got there. So he offered him to work for him, which Martin's accepted and the credit. Thanks for watching, pals. Do like the video and subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to never ever miss any update.